Pokebabs! Hello, and welcome back to the Pokebabs YouTube channel. And as promised, we will be looking at my first round match in the June Pokebeach tournament. And the round, it's going to be against D. Miller 58. And we see it's Lightning and Colorless deck. So, it should be interesting. Could be a few things. So, let's see what he's got in store for us. And like I said before, we are using the M-Manectric deck, M-Manectric Ho-Oh. So we mulligan, which is not great, especially since I think we're going first. So we're going to choose to start Zapdos so that we can max Elixir onto Ho-Oh if we need to. And we see a Raikou, so a little scary. Rough Seas doesn't help us a ton against it, and he plays down a Rough Seas anyway. And the Shining Body ability makes it so that if he has Lightning attached, then basically it's like having a Hard Charm on there. So a little tougher to get the knockouts. And a Manectric, so it looks like it's probably going to be Mega Manectric Raikou. Wouldn't be surprised if there is Jolteon in there as well. Yep, Mega Manectric. And a pass on to us. So this hand, we'll see what we get off these trainers' mails. Okay, so the Battle Compressor is pretty big. That'll let us get an Ultra Ball, or we could just grab the Ultra Ball straight up. That makes sense too. That way we don't have to use the VS Seeker or a Skyla. And grabbing the Ultra Ball first. Reason being, if I do the Trainer's Mail, then all the Pokemon that I'm getting with this Hoopa are in the deck. So I'd rather get them out of the deck first, give us a better chance of getting a trainer that I want to get off of the Trainer's Mail. So in this matchup, okay, well, as you can see, the other Ho is prized, but in this matchup, Mega Manectric is going to be more the way to go, because it's got a good HP, and if there is a Jolteon, we need to be able to counter the Jolteon, and then in addition, we're going to be able to heal it pretty easily, since Rough Seas won't get bumped, as far as I can tell. Alright, so we're going to grab a Fighting Fairy Belt. And put that onto Ho-Oh. And it kind of, the unfortunate thing is that the Zapdos is stuck in the active, but the nice thing is it can kind of just sort of sit there for a while. It could be used to force the 7 prize game for him. So that'll be interesting, and I'm contemplating what to do with this. If I want to attach the energy, we already have a fire in the discard, so yeah, I don't see a reason why not to attach. And it looks like I'm actually going to switch into the Manectric, get myself set up as well as I can to get a Mega Manectric next turn. Max Elixir, we get a Water Energy. That's going to go onto the Ho-Oh. Max Elixir, we got a bunch of energies to choose from, so we're going to grab that Lightning Energy, throw it onto Ho as well. Ho is still a good attacker in this. It can hit the Raikou for 140, which is the number you have to hit. I mean, obviously there is a Fighting Fairy Belt there, but still the number we're aiming for. I mean, with the Shining Body, you have to hit at least 140. And we're going to pass. Mainly just because what I top deck could affect how many I draw off the Shaman, or maybe I don't have to use the Shaman. So let's see what we top deck. Thankfully, not much out of our opponent. Grass Energy is not too bad, especially since now we can go straight into attacking with Elemental Feather. Our opponent has 1 card and didn't really do much last turn, so that's pretty positive. We're going to set up for 6. We see Trainer's Mail. Would be nice to get a Spirit Link there. It's exactly what we wanted to get off of that. Get a M-Manectric out right now. Nice to have that free retreater. And then also, like I said, I get the feeling there's a Jolteon in the deck. Maybe not. Could be just straight Raikou and M-Manectric, but a lot of times they like to have other attackers. And yeah, we're just going to Sycamore because all this energy we can get back with the Mega Turbo, or we can, and there we drew the Mega Turbo. Contemplating whether or not to go for it, but yeah, no reason not to. But so we can get it back there, and then of course with the M-Manectric we can get it back. So we're looking like we're in a pretty good position right now. We get another lightning off of the Max Select, so we're going to throw it out on the Zapdos. Good to get an energy on there, and then and that way we can power it up with 1 Turbo Bolt, and also if it gets Lysandered, we can retreat out of it. The Hoopa is still a liability, and they get a Trainer's Mail. Ooh, and they get a Sycamore, so I was hoping we had them on the ropes there, and they kind of were on the ropes, but looks like they got bailed out, discarding a M-Manectric, which probably isn't too big of a loss for them. So the interesting thing about having the Ho-Oh prize is that if this one goes down, we have to dig the other one out of the prizes because we don't play Super Rod. The exclusion of Super Rod isn't... I don't think it's that big of an issue, honestly. There are problems. I mean, it could be problematic from time to time, but the lines are significant enough that usually you're okay. So we just see a Turbo Bolt. Makes sense. He's going to heal that other Raikou on the bench, powering up the new Raikou that's put down there. And what do we do here? So seems like it'd be a good idea to just go into M-Manectric. I can get a Fire Energy onto the Ho-Oh, and then that way we can heal with Purifying Fire next turn. So that seems like a pretty good option. And oh, that looks like that was a misplay. Yeah, so obviously I meant to put the energy onto M-Manectric. I think I just got a little excited, thinking, okay, we're gonna get the energy onto the Ho-Oh, and then we're gonna be able to. I was not thinking correctly there. So now I'm forced to AZ the Shaman, and I'm not sure what I'm digging for. Maybe hoping to get a. Not really sure, honestly. That was a pretty bad mistake. So let's... Do I opt to... Yeah, and he's asking what happened, but... Yep, clearly I should have attached to the active, because there's no reason to attach to the bench if I'm not going to get an attack off. And a Lysander. And, oh, that's coming onto the Ho, so... That really stings, because that was a big mistake there, just enough for the knockout. And now we went from a pretty commanding position when they only had 1 card hand to now we're down 2 prizes, and our only Ho that we have in the deck, at least, is gone. We're going to set up because we don't have a supporter or any other attackers besides Zapdos. And contemplating the Ultra Ball, decide just to go for the Turbo Bolt. And we're going to probably throw the lightnings, or yeah, a lightning and any other energy onto the Zapdos. So now we've got another attacker, so that's good. 110 on the M-Manectric, but with the Rough Seas, that puts him at 130. So it would have been nice to have a Ho-Oh. Instead, the Zapdos can hit for 130, so that's nice. I mean, if they don't retreat, we could get the knockout, but we'll have to see what happens. So we see a Battle Compressor getting rid of what appears to be just some sort of useless trainers that they don't expect to use again. There's a VS Seeker for the Lysander. This might be just going straight after a Shaman. Yep, just gonna grab those easy prizes. Why not? That way, if they can find another Lysander, all they have to do is pick up the other, grab the other Shaman, and they can get the knockout with Raikou. So we're gonna bring up Zapdos. We top deck the Manectric, which is nice. We can get something else going, hopefully, and like I said, force that 7 prize game out of my opponent. Unless, of course, they have the Lysander. And unfortunately, I don't have an N or anything like that to really disrupt them. And then the damage from Raging Thunder decided to put on the Manectric that's just got the grass. Or I guess I could put it on the Mega Manectric just because it's got more HP. So I'm not too worried about it being knocked out. But obviously I lose to Lysander, so... and you can see I'm kind of preemptively assuming that my opponent probably has a way to get Lysander because they've got a pretty big hand, and we see the VS Seeker. So, yeah, game 1 not too good. Obviously, that misplay was pretty brutal, and definitely cost us the game. I mean, I'm not sure how things would have played out otherwise, but. Yeah, that was definitely a big mistake, and it kind of forced me to do some things I probably wouldn't want to do. All right, so now we're gonna head into game 2, and I'm down a game, but the deck seems like it could be a fairly even matchup, and it's it's definitely doable to win against the Mega Manectric. Raikou, so hopefully we'll do a little better this time. No big misplays like last time. We get to go first regardless of the coin flip, but we do win it. And starting Smeargle. Not the ideal starter, but like I said in the intro video, it's not that bad, honestly. It's got 1 retreat, so it's really not that bad. We're gonna hope we get something off of this trainer's mail, and that Ultra Ball is pretty big. Like I said, Ultra Ball is really what you kind of want to get at the beginning of every match. It's usually the best thing you can start with, just so you can grab that Hoopa, get set up. So we're going to grab the typical stuff we grab off of the Hoopa, and again we see one of the Hoes is prized, so that Full Art Ho just does not want to help us out today. So this is nice. The max lecture, we hit a lightning or a water. Opting to go with the water. Hoping we can get really aggressive with this Ho-Oh. So that's why I go with the grass too, because we know that there's more lightning in the deck. I can switch into the Ho-Oh, and now if I get a manual attachment of a lightning, then if they don't get anything, we can take the knockout. So, okay, I don't get the lightning, but fire's nice to have. So we'll throw it on there, especially when we've got Smeargle. It can actually be whatever energy we want. So that's why we're going to Battle Compressor. And we're going to find there's a lightning, an N, and maybe another tech supporter or an energy. Yeah, we'll go with AZ. Makes sense, because if we get something Lysandered up, that way we might be able to just AZ, pick it up, and then still get a knockout. So, as of now that it's possible to get the donk, we're gonna get rid of some more tech supporters and get rid of energy, because, like I said, Smeargle can grab that energy for us. Then we're going to Sycamore. So it's actually, that was a fantastic start. We got the full board. We basically have a Ho powered up fully. And we're just going to end our turn. We don't really need to do much else. Don't really want to put down the Rough Seas, because as of now, would just be helping our opponent. We see a Trainer's Mail. And an Escape Rope. So, could be interesting. We do have a Skyle in hand, though, so we can grab a switch. And, oh, okay, actually switches in the discard. So, but we do have the AZ, like I said. So that was part of why we put that AZ in the discard. But the other option is just to attach and retreat. So really, we've got a lot of options if they can't get anything else besides the Shaman, and they get a Fighting Fairy Belt. So now we're really happy that we got rid of those tech supporters because I have a Zerosic. I'm checking to see if the Zerosic's there. It is. So we have a Zerosic, so we can get rid of the Fighting Fairy Belt. We can retreat with the Grass Energy, and then use Smeargle's second coat, switch out the fire for the electric energy, and attack with the Ho-Oh. So if they don't get that Shaman out of the active, or if they don't get anything down, we can just win right this next turn. Well, that's game. If that's game, I'll go first next round, so it makes sense. So I say, okay, fair enough. And we got off a little easy that time, but it really demonstrates how the deck can just kind of explode turn one. I mean, it was pretty much all about the turn one there. We got our main attacker powered up in one turn, and it's even got that absurd energy cost. So grab that Zerosic. We're going to get rid of the Fighting Fairy Belt, and then we're going to Elemental Feather for the knockout. So now we're even things out a little. It's 1-1, and it is unfortunate for my opponent, but I think that that sort of thing can happen, and we're just glad that we were behind in the series there, that now we were able to tie it up. So going into game 3, level footing, and we haven't seen the Jolteon yet, so maybe there isn't a Jolteon. I would like to go first, but I have to say no. And we mulligan. So feeling kind of like that first game again, maybe. but as you know, it's the first game we got off to a great start, and I think that misplay really was the biggest issue that happened. Starting hand looks pretty good. We've got an Ultra Ball, we've got a Spirit Link, so and we've got a supporter, so we can get an energy in the discard, get a supporter in the discard, and set up with the Hoopa. So kind of nice. Opponent starts with a Raikou, which probably isn't their ideal starter, but it's pretty good for them. I mean, the M-Manectric's probably the ideal starter just so they can start powering up Raikous on the bench, but I'm sure that they are fine with the Raikou, especially seeing that we got the Smeargle start. They get rid of some supporters there. It looks like a Hex and Lysander and something else. We see a setup drawing into 6. So yeah, they also get rid of energy. So they've got 2 energies in the discard now. They're getting down all their tools as well. So they definitely got a good start. And there's the Jolteon that I was suspecting was in the deck. We see a Hex Maniac, which that's actually really rough. And then we top deck the Hoopa. So as much as I'd love to use the Hoopa, obviously we can't this turn. So I think we can't use the Scoundrel Ring. So instead, I'm just gonna get myself the M-Manectric, so that because I have the Spirit Link, and then that way next turn I can grab a Mega M-Manectric, and hopefully we'll get it powered up, which is not bad at all. So just doing deck checks, making sure I've got energies, Lysander, all those important cards like that. I've got 2N in there. Some of those cards that I know are going to be important. Got the other Spirit Link. So at least we're not missing anything too bad there. We'll put the Spirit Link down, and we're just going to Sycamore, because why even bench the Hoopa if it's not going to help us? I mean, it's not going to help us probably for most of the game. So we're going to grab that Ultra Ball, which is pretty nice because we'll hold on to it, I think, but the then next turn we can decide, do we need to get a Shaman, or we could grab the M-Manectric. I think the M-Manectric's the better option. And maybe I'll use the Ultra Ball. I mean, I think it works either way, because this way I can get those tech supporters in the discard. And just kind of say, hey, I have the M-Manectric, so you're gonna have to end me if you. And I mean, because they played a Hex, we don't know. I mean, maybe they don't have a very good hand. That could just be because they know I need the Hoopa to set up. We see a Trainer's Mail again. Grabbing a Max Elixir. So they probably don't mind having the Manectric on the bench either. And the Max Elixir, let's see if they hit an energy. They do, and it's going on to the Manectric EX. And of course they have a Sycamore as the last card in their hand, so well played by my opponent. And they get a Fighting Fairy Belt for the Jolteon EX, which is a pain. The Jolteon is going to be kind of tough to take down with the Fighting Fairy Belt, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, because it's got free retreat, they've got so much free retreat, and oh man, we see a Megaphone getting rid of that Spirit Link, which is a bummer because we do have the M-Manectric. But so if we top deck an energy, we could still power up M-Manectric. Doesn't seem particularly great. Okay, so if we top deck the energy now, we could attack because they knocked out the Smeargle. So if we could top deck an energy or Spirit Link or a Mega Turbo, then we can still attack with the M-Manectric this turn. So let's see what we get. We get a Max Elixir. Okay, we're going to play it. And Fire or Water, we're going to grab the Water for sure. Load it onto Ho-Oh. And, man, looks like it's just not quite what I wanted. We're going to have to end. I know my opponent has a low hand size, but we really have to get it set up. And we get a hand with a lot of funky stuff. We can dig further to try and get the M-Manectric. The Spirit Link and the M-Manectric. Maybe that's the right thing to do. And we get another Max Elixir. And we're going to throw that grass onto the Ho-Oh. And we're going to probably Ultra Ball. Seems like the right option here. Get rid of those tech supporters. And we're going to grab the M-Manectric. We want it in our hand. We're hoping we can draw into the Spirit Link right here. Would be really good. We know there's one more in the deck. And that's why it was good that we did that deck check at the beginning. We whiff it, but we do have a Trainer's Mail. And, wow, okay, that hurts. So, again, we missed the Spirit Link. So, the good thing is that we can still Assault Laser. And we can do 120 with Assault Laser, which is pretty good. Even if the ref sees, that means we could still get a knockout the following turn. And we do have the Ho-Oh waiting in the wings. We don't have the right energy at the moment, but it's reasonable that we'll draw into something good here. So especially with us having the Via Seeker. And I'm contemplating putting the Fighting Fairy Belt on the active. And then I think, okay, well, I can't do that because the Jolteon is a problem. I know the Jolteon's a problem, and I can't. So I still contemplate putting it on. I think I'm a little bit afraid of the Megaphone, but we're just going to go with the Assault Laser. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to put the Fighting Fairy Belt on because I'm pretty sure that I have to Mega Evolve. Yeah, pretty sure I have to Mega Evolve, or else that Jolteon is just going to run through us. And even as is with those two Shamans down, it's looking kind of scary. So my opponent plays Sycamore. We can see that Shining Body. Didn't really show that off before, but essentially it's like a Hard Charm. And with the Hard Charm, with the Shining Body and the Fighting Fairy Belt, it's got an effective 180, which is pretty intimidating. We could try and get rid of we could Zerosic the Fighting Fairy Belt if we need to. So my opponent doesn't actually have enough energy to attack with Raikou right now. Which is good. We don't really want them attacking with the non-EX attackers. And I'm looking through my discard just to see what I've got here. We do have Zoroark. We have... And we've seen Escape Rope, which is... that was their plan, so... I'm just looking to see, what do we got here? I've got an AZ, and what should I promote? I decided to promote the Ho-Oh with no energy on it, which is kind of an interesting decision. Probably thinking... my opponent says he messed up. I'm not sure exactly what he means by that. Maybe he didn't mean to attach the other energy to the M-Manectric. That is kind of odd to have 3 on there. So now we might have the opportunity to get the knockout on the M-Manectric. Let's see, it's got 120, yeah. So we can just Assault Laser. We can AZ and Assault Laser. And we see that Jolteon getting powered up, which is, again, is kind of scary. Especially since we don't have the Spirit Link, we don't have the Mega yet. And I thought he attached to Raikou. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense, because I was wondering why he would want to have only 2 on the Raikou. And then, I mean, the Escape Rope move was actually pretty good, but it didn't really make a lot of sense. So we're going to play AZ, which is nice, because then we heal all the damage off of the active. And I think we're going to just try and go for the knockout with the or just with the Manectric. Put the Ho-Oh back down. Just get another attacker set up is the main reason. Contemplating what to do with the energy. Do I want to Ultra Ball? Just so I can get the energy in the discard. Doesn't seem particularly useful. So we're just going to take the knockout here. See, I'm contemplating it, but we're just going to take the knockout here. Seems like the best option given the situation we were put in with the Escape Rope. And we get 2 via Seeker, which is fantastic because there's 2 Shaman on the field. So we can just Lysander 2 Shaman for the game. I mean, obviously there's possibility of him playing N, but that way I don't have to worry so much about the Jolteon. Because obviously we see, looks like he's going to attack with Jolteon. He gets the Lysander. He can Lysander my Shaman. So the nice thing is he did knock out that Smeargle first, so we can force the 7 prize game by not benching our Zapdos, which probably wouldn't be very helpful in this matchup anyway at this point. You see I'm contemplating what to do. I'm saying, okay, how much did that Jolteon do? How much can that Raikou do? You know, I'm a little worried because if he can just retreat into Raikou and knock me out, that's bad. So I'm like, okay, I need the Spirit Link. I do need the Spirit Link, but I mean, I can just go for the Lysander play. It seems like an okay option. Like attach an energy manually and then go for the Lysander play. The other option is I could get the M-Manectric out, but then I'm just not doing enough damage. So, just playing Battle Compressor, thinning my deck out a bit. I don't really need to draw much energy from the deck at this point. Lightning energy would be nice, but other than that, don't really need the energy. And we're just going to get rid of a Battle Compressor because I can't think of anything that I'm going to need to do to thin my deck out. Obviously, in the case of an N, maybe it would be good, but so I decided to grab the Skyla, which, like I said, this was an option to get out the M-Manectric. I think I was actually just I think I was just getting too intimidated by the Jolteon, and I also, the other thing that scared me was the fact that Raikou could come up and knock me out in one hit. So I was just kind of thinking, how do I follow up? If I take the knockout, then I don't have another attacker if I get knocked out by the Raikou. So I think, like, okay, M-Manectric can't get knocked out by Raikou, and it doesn't get shut down by Jolteon. So we're going to actually put those energies onto the one that doesn't have the Fighting Fury Belt, essentially telling my opponent, okay, you can go after either one. It's up to you if you want to get rid of the Fighting Fairy Belt one or attack that one, or which has a fire, so he can use the ability, or do you want to go after the one with the energy to attack? And we see a Lysander. So opponent's down to 1 prize. We're at 4 prizes. It is looking a little dire. I do get another VS Seeker, which is really good. And I mean, at this point, it's like, I mean, you can tell that I'm sort of realizing, like, maybe it would have been better to go for the Shaman Lysander, but I think we'll just see what happens. But I'm obviously going to go for the Lysander this turn. I didn't get my M-Manectric isn't damaged now, which is nice, and the Raikou can't knock me out. So this time I'm feeling a little more comfortable going for the Lysander, and I know that I have a VS Seeker. So if I don't get end, then I have the Lysander next turn for the knockout for the win. So there's a clear linear game plan here. Kind of just comes down to, does my opponent try and Lysander? So my opponent can Lysander the Ho-Oh and get a knockout on the Ho without the Fighting Fairy Belt. So now I'm wondering, maybe was that the wrong idea to do that? Should I have not put down the one without the Fighting Fairy Belt? Yeah, so we see the N, which honestly I kind of had to expect. But the positive side of it is that my opponent is putting himself at 1, and we're at 2. But I think that might have been my last VS Seeker. And to check to see how many VS Seeker my opponent's used. So we hit with Flash Ray, so the Hoes can't do damage to the Jolteon next turn. We top deck the Lightning Energy, which obviously we wanted the VS Seeker, but if it wasn't a VS Seeker or a supporter to draw cards, then Lightning Energy is not bad. We see both Shamans are there. We see, yep, okay, so that was the last VS Seeker. So I'm literally just hoping to get only a VS Seeker. And I think the best thing to do now is just to play cards down. So that if I get end again at some point, I have less cards in deck. But I mean, my opponent probably doesn't want to end me at any point, because if they get the Lysander, they just win. So I put the Ho with the Fighting Fairy Bolt in the active just because I need to heal my M-Manectric, and I'm thinking, okay, might as well just like put a little pressure on the Shaman on the bench and just do a little damage to it, and basically say, if you want to stall out a long time, I'll just switch between my attackers, and I can knock out the Shaman in 4 Elemental Feathers because of the 30 bench damage. So we see a Flash Ray, which obviously means I'm not going to damage the Jolteon unless I use M-Manectric, so we're going to use Rough Seas. And we're going to use the Ho's ability. And my opponent's saying, yeah, it was a good game no matter what, which is definitely true. I mean, when you're just trying to top deck, trying to find your way to the win just with a top deck, that means that it's a close match. So I see Ho's got 190, and that means that, but the thing is, M-Manectric also has 190, and so I'm trying to do the math. Can this Raikou knock me out? I'm pretty sure that I'm safe from getting knocked out. Not necessarily, but it just seems likely. So obviously the better option is just Turbo Bolt, and then I put the damage on the Jolteon, and now I'm saying, okay, if you don't retreat, then I'm going to knock out your Jolteon, and I'll win that way. So now I'm forcing the Lysander, the worry about the Lysander play, and also I can just attack you with M-Manectric and you'll lose. So it just only makes sense. We're going to see a retreat here into the Raikou. And I think we're just going to get hit hard by this Raikou. And it's pretty intense. Like, he does 140. So, okay, I get a Fighting Fury Belt, which is actually really nice, because now that means that the other Ho-Oh is, like, a player. I can actually, like, put it in the active and not be too worried about Raikou knocking it out or something like that. And I should really play down cards anyway, just because if, like I said, if I get End again, it's bad. So put down the Fighting Fury Belt. Honestly, what I should do is I should Ultra Ball to get something out of my deck, because I'm trying to get the VS Seeker and only the VS Seeker. So I should probably Ultra Ball, but I decide not to. I think I'm wanting to hold on to the N, honestly, but probably not necessary. So again, if my opponent has a Lysander, they win because the M-Manectric is heavily damaged. I'm going to go for the Elemental Feather, and we're going to put the damage on the Shaman. Again, saying, and the nice thing is the Shaman can't be healed with Rough Seas, so I'm just saying, okay, do your worst. We see a Rough Seas, which is, and okay, so we see a Max Potion, which is honestly a huge pain, because I was only 2 Elemental Feathers away from knocking out the Shaman. So that was honestly like the easiest path to victory at this point, besides the Lysander. I like how the Lysander is just sitting on the top of my discard, like, hey, you want me to pop up. So we top deck a Zapdos, which is absolutely useless, and that's why I was saying I should have used the Ultra Ball before to get the Pokemon out of my deck, so I didn't draw into them. But didn't do that. I'm looking. I'm trying to see what. So I mean, the good thing is the Raikou has less energy now, so can't do as much damage next turn. So I'm thinking, and the Ho and the M-Manectric is still heavily damaged, so that's not good. So I mean, I can just attack again and hit the Shaman again. And that seems like the best option at this point. The other option is to retreat into the other Ho-Oh, but I think hitting the Shaman again is good. I mean, it's possible my opponent has an AZ, another AZ or something like that, or they have like a Max Potion again, but I'm just stalling, honestly, at this point. So we see the Battle Compressor, which is really scary, because that means that, and I think he has 2 VS Seekers left in his deck. So out of 5 cards and the prize, I mean, I have 13 cards left, so it's going to be tougher for me to get a VS Seeker. And we get hit by the Flash Ray. So now I top deck a Trainer's Mail, which is huge. And now I'm thinking, okay, I'm not going to do what I haven't done up until now. I'm going to make sure that I do use this Ultra Ball, and I thin out any Pokemon that's in my deck if there is one. And there's actually 2. So, and I'm looking through and I'm saying, okay, what are my chances here of getting what I need? Well, let's go for it. Trainer's Melt, and we get the VS Seeker, which is awesome. So VS Seeker for the Lysander. We're going to grab that Shaman. It was a really great match against D-Mailer. And wow. I think that's about as intense as it gets. So we're going to Lysander that Shaman for the win. But yeah, super intense. Good to have that Trainer's Mail still on the deck. Increasing my odds of getting that VS Seeker for the win. And so hopefully you guys can kind of see, I mean, this was not a matchup I was expecting at all. I just had to kind of just sort of, come up with a game plan on the go. And after going down a game, I was thinking this is not good because they could heal and they might have a Jolteon, and I was really worried. But yeah, I mean, the deck pulled through. And so good luck to my opponent in the next round, and hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you with the next round of the Pokebeach tournament. Thanks for watching.